What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another update for you guys, and we've got a confirmed transfer to talk about, and that is the Bryan Gil and Erik Lamela swap deal with 25 million euros going in the direction of Sevilla as well, and that is a confirmed transfer, confirmed from both Tottenham and Sevilla. So it's definitely a step in the right direction. And I want to say about Erik Lamela, he always gave his all for the shirt. Obviously, it didn't turn out the way we all thought it would when he first joined us, coming to replace Gareth Bale and what have you. But I think that what you can say about Erik Lamela, he was definitely seemed as though he was like a fan of Tottenham Hotspur, going out on that pitch and really giving his all, giving his 100% to the shirt. Shithousery against Jack Wilshere and Erik Lamela. We'll get into his great moments a bit later on in the video, but let's have a look at the confirmed videos that both clubs have put out for this transfer so far. So let's go and have a look at the Tottenham Twitter first of all.
All right, so all kicked off when Sergio Reguilon tweeted, "Announce it, Spurs official." Everyone got everyone very, very excited earlier in the day. That was about 5-1. And then Spurs replied, and then they officially announced a deal. And here's the graphic. The Spurs officially announcing Bryan Gil as a Tottenham Hotspur player, with Erik Lamela obviously going the other way. So massive deal for Tottenham. A very exciting 20-year-old winger who hopefully will add some extra energy, some extra creativity and dribbling ability to the attack. Something we've probably been missing. And it's a very strange one because he's on one hand an old-fashioned winger where he's a left foot who likes to play on the left-hand side, but he has a very unorthodox style of playing on that left-hand side. It's not very typical, just hit the byline, whipping crosses and things like that. He likes to play in between the lines. He likes to cut inside, play in those spaces, and he's very, very unpredictable. And obviously here...
He likes those tight spaces as well, doesn't he?
He does, and if you see the way he dribbles, the ball is absolutely stuck to his foot. It's stuck to his foot. His close control is absolutely phenomenal, and that's something that's going to be very, very exciting. There was obviously Reguilon tweeting, "Here we go," in response to Spurs announcing Bryan Gil, and then Sevilla did their own announcement video here with Erik Lamela stepping out onto the pitch in Seville, and he will be wearing the number, as you will see in shortly, the number 17 shirt in Sevilla. And it's a great move for him. I think to go to a club at the stature of Sevilla at 29 years of age, probably his last chance to get a big move.
Are they in the Champions League?
Yes, they're in the Champions League. Look, they finished fourth, and up until the last few games of the season, they were within touching distance of first. So it's a great move for him. Hopefully, he finds form and he finds a home there in Sevilla, and I'm sure he will. And then Tottenham posted a message saying, "A player who gave everything for the badge. Thank you, Erik Lamela. Thank you, Coco." And that was Erik Lamela. Tottenham's goodbye message to Erik Lamela. And then as well, he had an Instagram post. Let me get that up for you. Where he said a goodbye message to the Tottenham fans, saying, "Spurs fans, what can I say? It was a very long journey together, maybe more than I thought, but this club has my heart. I feel the shirt the way you fans feel it. Many good memories over the years, and I thank my teammates for these years together. I thank the people who work at the club who have always treated me excellently. I thank the fans for cheering me on in every game. I miss you all, and I'll carry this club with me forever. Hashtag come on you Spurs." And then he's got a few parting images of his time at Tottenham, of some great times, celebrating some big wins and some of his best moments in his years down. 8 years at the club is a very, very long time, and so he's got a lot of memories. And I think look, as much as the transfer maybe wasn't as successful as we had hoped, I'm pretty sure we'll all miss Erik Lamela, what he brought to the football club. And I think he always gave 100% whenever he was on the pitch. We all know that. So we all wish him well. And honestly, I hope he has a great time in Seville, and I'm sure he will. I'm sure he'll find a home there. I'm sure he will do very well in La Liga. And I'm excited for him.
Yeah, he had that dogged fighting nous about him on that pitch. I mean, like you say, he always gave 100%, but he was always there in the big games, willing to put in those extra yards. I mean, big games stand out, you know, Chelsea in the Carabao Cup earlier on last season. Whenever he stepped on a pitch in the North London derby, he was there ready to give it. In the Chelsea games, I remember always. I mean, he even scored against teams, Manchester United, he scored against Man City once as well. So, I mean, he was a big game player. You got to say that.
Yeah, he always stepped up in these big games, and he always played a vital role, especially coming off the bench. He always made an impact when he was coming off the bench. He never just came on for 10 minutes and let it pass him by, whether even just getting booked or creating something or just being a nuisance. He was always there in your face and able to make an impact. And the only thing really holding him back properly at Tottenham, unfortunately, was he's just too often on the treatment table, and
his consistency even when he was fit.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what I think the injuries most of it was hard to get consistency, isn't it? When you're just so often on the treatment table, he had those double hip injuries. He had that one long period. I think it was 18 months he didn't play at all, did he? Yeah. That was very, very tough. He also suffered tragedy with his brother who was in an accident, and that affected him for a while. So I think his time. There's always going to be an element of what could have been with Lamela, and maybe under different circumstances he could have been much more of a success than he was, which is a shame. But I do think that he did give 8 great years for us. And we're going to miss him, and we do wish him all the best in his when he's in Seville.
At the end of the day, it was time to move on for Erik Lamela. Maybe it was a bit too late. Maybe he did outstay his welcome a little bit, Erik Lamela. But we just commend the way he conducted himself at Tottenham, because, like I said before, you really felt that he was a supporter of this football club. Every time he stepped onto that football pitch, you could see the passion, the burning passion he had for the football club. And it wasn't just something that he tried to get across. You could see it was absolutely genuine from him. You could. And yes, like I said, he did outstay his welcome a little bit. And it feels like an end of an era at Tottenham right now.
Well, that's the 7th.
Not just because of him, but because of everything that's going on right now.
Yeah, I agree. And that's the 7th of the Magnificent Seven finally gone. So all 8 years later have left the football club. And Lamela being the last one to go, he's the one who stayed the longest, and I think that hopefully brings a new era at Tottenham. We've needed this rebuild, we've needed a regeneration of the squad, and I'm hoping this is the start of it. And obviously, it's exciting times now with Bryan Gil coming into the football club as a young winger with a lot of potential. He had a great season on loan at last place at Eibar, standing out at a struggling side, being head and shoulders above the rest, being even getting calls up for the national side in the process. He's currently away at the Olympics, so he won't be joining Tottenham. We won't be joining up the squad until Spain are out of the Olympics, and he's had a bit of a break, which is a shame on that part. But I'm very, very excited for him to join up on the squad, and what I'm excited to see what he can bring to the team, because I think he's got skills that a lot of our players they don't really bring in terms of dribbling ability and confidence to take multiple men on and attack their fullback and be creative in those tight spaces, and his close control. I think he'll probably have the best close control in the squad. So he might take some time to develop and properly bed into the team and the league. But I'm very, very excited about this transfer, and it's I think it's just another step of regenerating the squad, getting a young winger in.
Yeah, I mean, this guy is a guy who, let's be honest, we didn't know much about him before he started to be linked with us, before Romano did break that news. But I think that when you look at it as a transfer, you've got to say it's definitely a massive step in the right direction. This guy has glowing reports from Sevilla fans. He's got glowing reports from fans around La Liga who watched that league week in, week out. He was part of an Eibar side last season that did finish bottom of the league, but he was like a glowing light in their season last year. So like my brother says, it's definitely a step in the right direction in terms of regenerating this squad. Last year we probably had one of the oldest squads.
Fifth oldest.
Well, there you go, fifth oldest squad. And when we were at the top of our game, we had the youngest squad in the league. And I think that's what we need to get back to. We need to get back to a young, hungry squad that's willing to press for 90 minutes, that was willing to last the 90 minutes, and bringing in someone like that who's actually got insane technical ability, technical ability that we probably haven't seen at Tottenham for a very, very long time. Some of the skill sets that he has, I mean, it's really going to be imperative for us to break down those kind of low block sides. You know, the way he works in those tight spaces, the way he actually thrives in those tight spaces where he has 3 or 4 men around him, where he has the kind of natural ability and the brain to weave himself out of those troubles, play good passes, get good crosses into the box. And, you know, people are saying that why are we signing a left winger? We got Heung-min Son, but this guy is very versatile. He's as confident on the left as he is on the right, as he is in the middle. So in my opinion, look, like I said, I've never seen him play a 90-minute game of football, but from what I'm hearing from him, what I'm seeing from him in the kind of clips that I have been seeing, from what fans of La Liga are saying, I mean, this could be a very good deal. Definitely one for the future. Like my brother said, I think that it's a bit ambitious to ask him to come in straight away and start commanding this league straight away. He's a 20-year-old kid, had 3 caps of Spain, which is impressive in itself.
Sancho's only 20.
That's true. Sancho is only 20, but he's done it at Dortmund for the last 3 years. Bryan Gil hasn't done it at Seville, at his parent club, because of his lack of experience. But he's gone on loan. He went on loan to Levante. I'm not quite sure how he did there, but his loan at Eibar last year was very good, albeit he only got 4 goals and 4 assists. But like we say, look, this guy, we're going to have to bide our time with him. But it's definitely a signing which we can all get behind, that's for sure.
And I think as well, if you look at the players we have with Sonny, Bergwijn, not as much Lucas, but to an extent. But I think those kind of wingers we have at the moment, they very much thrive when there's a lot of space to run into and space in front of them. They're not the best players when they have to break when their team's playing a low block and there's tight spaces, and you have to be very nimble and agile. And that's what Gil is going to bring to us. That's his biggest asset, is his close control, the ball sticking to his feet in those tight spaces, and he doesn't get afraid or overruled when he sees 2 or 3 defenders in front of him and thinking about. He's always very aggressive when in his take-ons. He's very aggressive when even picking passes in between the lines in those tight spaces. That's where he lives. So I think in terms of that kind of skill set, it's very, very different to what we already have. And I don't think maybe he can dribble in that kind of pace that Lucas Moura can, where he can just disappear in front of you, but his technical ability when dribbling can just open up spaces, and that's the most crucial part of his game.
I was just about to say that, because you know we say about Lucas Moura all the time how he doesn't like the ball into space. He likes it into feet to go and beat a man with his dribbling ability. I was just about to ask you, answered the question, but how similar do you reckon it is to kind of them two with their technical ability?
Yeah, it's different, because Lucas Moura, he is just so sharp over such a short distance that he can just get the ball in front of you and bam, he's gone. You can't catch him, and it's different. He can also thrive in tight spaces, but that's more like wriggling out of it. But then once he wriggles out of that tight space, he doesn't really know what to do with it. He kind of has to play a pass or something, and he ends up breaking down usually. Or maybe he tries a cross and gets blocked. That's what usually happens with Lucas. But with Bryan Gil, he's a lot more smarter than that. He might not burst past players like Lucas does, a bit different, but he maneuvers his body to create space. And then once he's creating the space, he's got the presence of mind to find little passes, clever passes into the box and down wide areas to create space. So it's so his way of playing, his agile ability when the ball's at his feet is a bit different to Lucas, but still very effective.
Yeah, I mean, all I can say is a signing that we are definitely very, very excited about here, and I think that. Like I said before, it was time for Erik Lamela to go, so I'm happy he's through the door, but I am also going to miss him around the place. You got to say that. I'm definitely going to miss him around the place. His pure energy he brought every time he came off the bench. But on the flip side of that, I cannot wait. I cannot wait to see Bryan Gil in a Spurs shirt. I cannot wait to see what he's really about week in, week out. It's going to take time for us to see him week in, week out, that's for sure. But I imagine like the first times we're going to see him maybe the earlier rounds of the Carabao Cup, the earlier rounds of the Conference League and stuff. But it also remains to be seen when he's going to be back at Tottenham, because we have to wait and see how far Spain go in the Olympics and how much of a break he's going to have. But look, it's definitely a step in the right direction. Don Paratici is definitely working his magic on this Tottenham squad right now, which is music to all our ears. But that's it. That is your confirmed transfer. Ali Gold said this is going to be a busy week, so let's hope it doesn't stop there for this week. But that is your confirmed transfer. 25 million plus Erik Lamela for Bryan Gil. And also, just before we go, I just want to say that us signing Bryan Gil for 25 million euros plus Erik Lamela, you got to say, well, the pure value of that is what, about 35 million, 40 million euros. And for us to spend that sort of money with what's been banded about with Daniel Levy saying all what he's had in the past few months, he must be very, very highly thought of by Fabio Paratici for him to sway Levy to spend this kind of money on him.
Definitely, yeah. It's not a cheap deal. I think maybe it's one we see that has a lot of long-term ability, seeing as he's 20 years old, so he's going to be here for the long term. So we see it more as a long-term investment, which is positive. But I just think as well, you got to remember getting Lamela, who's one of the top earners in the squad. I think he's nearing 100 grand a week because he's been here 8 years. So he's kind of signed a couple of extensions in the past. So I think it's important for him to get one of the players who's nearing 30 off the wage bill. So I think it's a creative use of Lamela, and I think it suits us both, getting him off. And I think it's positive in that sense that we're being creative in the market, not just with the players coming in, but the players going out, how we're using those players that we want to make available for transfer. And I think Paratici's done very well to get an agreeable deal with Sevilla, with Lamela going the other way. So I think it's a good deal. I think good deal for both parties.
And finally, what are our favourite Erik Lamela moments in a Spurs shirt?
Yeah, there's quite a few. 8 years down the line. Obviously, I would say I remember that real breakout performance he had when we beat Man City 4-1 at home. I remember that was like his first proper performance. It was like, all right, Erik Lamela has come here at Tottenham now. I remember he was so good that day.
He always started seasons well, though.
Always started the season well before injuries caught up with him. Obviously, we had that Rabona in the Europa League. That was a very, very against Asteras. That was an unbelievable moment. You had the Battle of the Bridge where he was taking the fight to Chelsea, stamping on Fabregas's hand, which was when we really start to see the proper shithousery of Erik Lamela come to the fore.
The ones against Jack Wilshere, nutmegging Jack Wilshere, calling him a pussy, and all
exactly,
that kind
and
of
riling
stuff.
him up. I remember we had just beaten Arsenal 1-0, and after the final, he was riling him up, and Wilshere couldn't take it.
And you
It
just
was
see
brilliant.
Wilshere really angry, like a pit bull or something, and Lamela just laughing in his face. And I'll
so
remember
funny.
that picture for a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That was absolutely brilliant. Scoring that third goal against Man United when we beat them in the Premier League. Another great moment. He has had some great moments in North London derby, especially obviously we lost the game, but the Rabona last season was a moment everyone's going to remember.
It's a special goal. It's just such a shame.
Yeah.
It's just such a shame the blot on that because we lost the game.
It is, but it's a moment I'll be going in history as one of the greatest goals in Premier League history. So you can never take that away from him. And to do that in the North London derby was a very, very special moment, despite us losing the game. So that was special. Obviously, here playing as part of a 6-1 victory at Old Trafford as well. Getting Martial sent off, and I think he had a great first half as well. So he had some really great moments, and he definitely missed.
Yeah, obviously that equalised against Chelsea, where we went on to beat them in the penalties, and I think he scored a penalty that day as well. And just every time he came on as a substitute, I think he always did us proud when coming on. Definitely. I think it was when he was starting is kind of when he let us down a bit. Usually, to be honest, that was when he was at his most frustrating, but I think when he was coming up against like tired defenders and stuff, and he was able to show a bit of his ability, that's when he was at his best. And I think the 8 years could have gone better, but I think we've you got to be thankful for what we had. And I wouldn't call him a legend, and it definitely wasn't a transfer where you'd say he was a roaring success. But I think he did give 8 decent years, and you got to acknowledge that. And he did stay a long time. He was very passionate and loyal to the club. So we wish him all the best. Definitely. So that is your Erik Lamela and Bryan Gil confirmation video. Let me know your best memories of Erik Lamela in the comment section below. And I want to hear your excitement quotes and comments about Bryan Gil in the comment section below. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, come on, you Spurs.